UC Santa Barbara is the site of tonight's SLC semifinal matchup, as today the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos take on the Arizona Lax Cats from Isle Vista in Santa Barbara, California. Hello everyone, along with Eric Valois, I'm Mark Heller. Thanks so much for joining us here on a beautiful sunny late April afternoon. The winner is going to move on and take on Grand Canyon, the team that came in first place in the South. Let's go ahead and take a look at the comparisons between these two teams as we get ready for this tilt between Arizona and UC Santa Barbara. As you're getting a nice wide shot here by Ted of the brand new turf stadium here at UC Santa Barbara. It is a beautiful facility, and the Arizona fans as well as the Santa Barbara fans have come out here in full force to watch this game. As we enter this match today, the SLC, if you don't already know, is made up of a North and Southern division. In the North Division, Chapman, they were undefeated with a record of 6-0. UC Santa Barbara was in second at 5-1. LMU grabbed the third and final spot at 3-3 as they knocked off UNLV, followed by UCLA, Claremont, and USC. In the SLC South, what a story of Grand Canyon, who was Division II a year ago, moved up to Division I in club, and they go undefeated in the SLC South, 4-0, 8-4 on the year. Arizona State came in second at 3-1, and U of A claimed that third and final spot at 2-2. San Diego State 1-3, and the Toreros of the University of San Diego, they were 0-4. Well, during the course of the regular season, both of these teams had winning streaks, Eric, until the last game of the year, and the Gauchos lost a very tough one-goal game to the Chapman Panthers by the count of 7-6.
It was an impressive game. The Gauchos are just going to have to finish the shots that they're giving. They had a quick feed in right there at the buzzer, and it was an almost goal. You know, they take advantage of those opportunities given, and this is a very competitive game.
Matter of fact, they had won 4 consecutive matches before that loss. Arizona, same thing. They were on their winning ways. They had won 6 in a row before they took out their cross-state rival, Arizona State, where they got blitzed 17-7, a game that Mickey Miles would probably like to throw in the garbage can and probably never watch a replay of.
That's exactly it.
And meanwhile, for UC Santa Barbara, they are led by Mike Allen. And Mike is in his second stint as head coach. Had a great run back in 04-05. They were national champions, made it to the Final Four in 06-07, knocked out in the first round 08. After a few-year hiatus, he came back to the program, and he said, Mark, I am looking to get this team back to the Final Four.
You know, I think Mike Allen has done a fantastic job after returning from Towson, getting this young squad together. You know, they've really showed a lot of camaraderie and developed those freshmen into true outstanding players. You know, they've got a long pole that they taught to face off this season. You know, C.J. Jacobs, their seniors, led this freshman crew through injuries, through adversity, and here they are, you know, making that first round of playoffs, and hopefully they can ride this wave on in.
And meanwhile, for Arizona, Mickey Miles, the legendary coach, I think he's old as Tucson itself. He's been with the program since 1964. And something you may not know about the Tucson Cowboy, he's originally from Brooklyn, New York. And this match is underway. Arizona in their blue and white, and Santa Barbara in their white and gold numbers with blue helmets. So Arizona will open up on the offensive possession. Let's see what they can do here. For Arizona, at defense, Nolan Baker, Brandon Felix, and Zach Ashurian. At the attack, Willie Stanaback, the guy to look out for, number 7, Luke Strode, and number 9, Zach Johnson. And your middies, Sammy Bradley, Andrew Rollins, and Ben Brandt. So talk about the importance. We talk about the FOGO, the face-off, get-off, and the opportunity for your team to get on offense.
You know, the FOGO position has really developed over the last couple of years as the key to winning lacrosse games. You know, lacrosse has come down to such great goaltending that possession is really a key, and it all starts with the FOGO. You know, if you've got a guy who's winning a majority of your face-offs, you can control the pace of play and allow your shooters to really get good looks at the cage, like the one we just saw from University of Arizona Lax Cats.
Yep, the shot by Bundy, and a nice save is made by the veteran goalie Conrad Carlson, the junior out of Clayton Valley, California. And let's see what UC Santa Barbara can do on their first offensive set, Eric.
That was a key defensive stand for the Gauchos right there, and exactly something that Miller has, the defensive coach at the Gauchos, have really emphasized all year long, is not giving shooting teams like Arizona a good look at the cage, allowing Conrad to make easy saves.
Yep, as far as the starting lineup for UC Santa Barbara, at attack, Blake Samuel, Kevin Bowles, and Johnny Morgan. CJ Jacobs, Aaron Bucka, and Ryan Walsh are at midfield. At defense, Andrew Cooney, David Abadi, and Dan Nevitt, and Conrad Carlson is your goalie, and he's done a good job. Anytime you're saving over 60%, you're doing his job, and he's at 63.7% saves on the year.
Conrad has had an excellent season, really giving the Gauchos, again, with a small roster and a young crowd, the chance to stay in games. And that was very apparent when they played #1 Colorado State University. He kept them in it until he took that big hit going down, needing 4 stitches above his right eye. If he plays like he has all season long, the Gauchos have a good chance of winning this game.
Luke Strode, who has the ball right now, just had a shot moments ago, went wide. Shot on the way, and that one's wide. Point-blank range by Zach Johnson, the sophomore from Phoenix. And he can score 28 goals, 15 assists, 43 points on the year for Johnson.
Yeah, what a great shot by Johnson, following the scouting report, shooting low off
Green, beautiful save made by Conrad. So he's come up already with 3 big saves early in this match, and I'll tell you what, I thought advantage UC Santa Barbara entering this one. Arizona only traveling with 20 guys. A couple of guys couldn't make it because of food poisoning, but early on, the Lax Cats are looking strong.
They are. They're looking phenomenal. They're moving the ball well. They're getting good looks at the cage, and most importantly, they're taking full advantage of the opportunities that the Gauchos defense has been giving them.
And let's see. The Gauchos here trying to tally on the board first. 11:53 to go. We play 4 15-minute quarters here in College Club Lacrosse. The winner meets Grand Canyon, and what a story. Moving up from Division II to Division I, and they find a way to come in first, undefeated in the Southern Division.
You know, a lot of that goes down to dedication, how much you're willing to give outside of practice, and it seems to me like Grand Canyon has stepped up and risen to the challenge to fully dedicate themselves to growing and developing their program, so hats off to them.
Jacobs, shot on the way. It's going to be high and wide. Had an opportunity there, unable to capitalize, but the Gauchos will keep possession.
Mike Allen has really focused a lot on maintaining possession and capitalizing on these shots. You know, CJ has got one of the hardest shots in the SLC right now, but tends to put them wide, like we just saw again, although not CJ. The Gauchos have really got to finish in tight like that.
That was Ryan Walsh, the junior from Cathedral Catholic, down in San Diego, by the way of where Mr. Ted Bendricks lives, our outstanding cameraman, getting all the shots of this match here today. And I really like the way they set up the playoffs, the fact that they reward those teams that finish in first place with that first round bye. Shot on the way, and we have our first goal of the game. It comes from Johnny Morgan, the junior from La Costa Canyon. And with 10:53 to go in quarter number 1, the Gauchos strike first.
La Costa Canyon has time and time again produced outstanding young players. You know, they just signed one of their top recruits at University of Michigan Division I, and San Diego has really stepped up to produce some fantastic lacrosse players. I really like this combination of CJ Jacobs right there, feeding that pass in to Johnny. You know, they've done well all season long, hooking each other up to make sure they put points on the board.
And for Morgan, his 25th goal of the year, and he missed 6 games this year. He was in a boot for 6 weeks with a broken foot, but he is back, and as you can well tell, he is ready to contribute here today.
University of Arizona Lax Cats have really relied on young freshmen pressure. You know, they get eager looks on defense. They really force you guys to make the move. However, that can turn around and bite them. If they overcommit, if they pressure out too hard, UC Santa Barbara will take advantage.
Morgan with another shot opportunity. That one goes high and wide. There's no doubt. Look for Johnny Morgan. I mean, he averages 3.8 points per game, and he's definitely their go-to guy.
He is. He has a unique ability to get to cage and find himself in positions that most players are not.
And that shot goes just wide. So the Gauchos putting on the pressure. And that's really what it's all about, forcing your opponent to play as much defense as possible and keep them on their heels. Right now it's C.P. Perella, the junior out of Campolino. Errant pass right there. Let's see if Morgan can run it down. He does, and they'll keep possession. We have 9:45 to go here in quarter number 1. Gorgeous facility here at UC Santa Barbara. Definitely state-of-the-art.
It was a fantastic addition to the facilities here at UCSB, and we've been fortunate enough to be able to play on this surface.
Shot on the way, and the save is made off the attempt by Kyle Sieglin, the sophomore out of Gilman, 5'11", 170. And let's see what the Lax Cats can do here. They've been playing defense for about the last 2.5 minutes. Long pass by the goalie, but they're able to get their attack going. Let's see what the Lax Cats can do. They trail 1-0. The bottom line is win or go home. There's talk of as many as 4 teams from league qualifying for the MCLA National Tournament, as that errant pass is a unforced turnover. But the bottom line is if you don't make it to at least the semis, you can kiss your postseason opportunity goodbye.
That is absolutely true. Absolutely true. And it'd be a fantastic achievement for the West Coast to really send 4 quality teams to that MCLA tournament.
That's a possibility with the way these teams have played. So once again, the Gauchos on the attack. And they're moving the ball crisply. They really seem real comfortable right now. Of course, playing a playoff game on your home field always gives you a little bit of an advantage in any sport. Kevin Bowles to Ryan Walsh.
Let's see what the referees do here. You know, UCSB looks like they're killing the clock. They got to get in the box. Stay away from that stall warning.
Yep, Bucka. To Morgan, shoots, scores! When he keeps it low, it is so tough to stop that young man.
It is unbelievably difficult for goalies in tight on top of the crease to really get low and stop those balls. So for any young shooters listening to this broadcast, shoot the ball low, shoot the ball off stick side. If you can aim for that most time off stick side foot, you've got a good chance of scoring that goal.
For Morgan, his 26th goal of the season at the 8:11 mark. It's 2-0 UC Santa Barbara. We should mention the officials for tonight's game. Dirk Brinkley, Damon Hansen, and Juarez Newsom making all the calls of this one. And I believe we have Mr. Darren Hansen wired up here today.
We'll get Darren on a couple times to hear what he's calling.
Here comes C.J. Jacobs out of Los Alamitos, the senior. A year ago, he was first-team SLC midfield and the third-team MCLA All-American, and he is not disappointed this year. 29 goals, 11 assists for 40 points. Not only a good goal scorer, but also one of their playmakers. Here comes Bucka. They wheel it up top. I like talking about the Orange County guys, close to my heart, as that ball goes wide by CJ. We should mention Aaron Bucka from Northwood High School in Irvine. That's about 10 minutes away from my house in Rancho Santa Margarita.
It's a lovely location, a great place to play lacrosse. You know, the West Coast has really had the advantage over the past couple years of having multi-sport or year-round athletes. You know, we play in the sun 360 days a year.
Whiffing on that one. Number 15, Ryan Walsh. We should mention the starting lineup. You got 3 kids from Orange County and 3 young men from San Diego. So Southern California definitely dominating the starting lineup.
And realistically, why would you want to leave Southern California when you could play here?
Yep, you learned that lesson the hard way, didn't you?
I did.
Shot on the way, and a nice save is made in between the pipes for the University of Arizona. So let's see. The Gauchos, though, continuing to put on the pressure, and the Lax Cats have got to find a way to get some offense going. Nice job on the defense for Arizona by Zach Ashurian out of Jacksonville, 6'2", 195. And they'll give the Lax Cats an opportunity to get their offense going. Nice save. And let's see what they can do right here.
So here's a good matchup right here. See how they can handle this undersized attack squad of University of Arizona.
Yep, you definitely want to look for Stanaback, number 7. 38 goals and 47 points on the year. They need to try and set him up for some scoring opportunities.
Watch for University of Arizona to try to work the ball to X and get Stanaback a crease roll from down low. He really works well behind the crease.
Right now, Bundy with it, number 1. Freshman midi out of St. Louis. Shot on the way by Breen, and that one's going to go wide. He's another guy you want to look for offensively. He can certainly put up some numbers for you. 28 goals, 16 assists, 44 points for Breen, who, by the way, is out of Baltimore, Maryland. That's definitely one of the homes of lacrosse.
It has been. Baltimore is...
Of course, you think of Johns Hopkins and all the schools in that part of the country, University of Virginia, University of North Carolina, Duke, all major powers.
Got Towson, who's getting in the mix. And just a fun fact about Johns Hopkins University is Mike Allen's dad is the current volunteer assistant coach at Johns Hopkins. So Mike Allen's got a lot of experience working in and around big programs.
And one of my former broadcast partners, Max Davis, out of UMBC, Maryland Baltimore County.
Yes.
Who's playing professionally right now. So let's see what they can do. 4:54. It's been a pretty quick first quarter. It's been penalty-free and almost turnover-free.
Both teams are doing a pretty good job of controlling the ball. However, they need to increase their shot percentages as far as effectiveness. The Gauchos...
Perella trying to work his way in, but a good double team by the Lax Cats.
The Gauchos have really taken some low percentage shots mixed with U of A's low percentage shots. So expect those teams to both turn that up in the next quarter.
Sieglin working his way. Sets up a teammate. Shot on the way by Bucka, and a nice save by Tommy Strock. For them, their goalie that they were supposed to have throughout the year, Luke Post, has been injured all season long, the local product from Tucson. 6'4", 250. Nice size for a goalie.
Yeah.
And they've had to go to the youngster, Tommy Strock, and he's picked up the pace for him late in the year. Gauchos enjoying an early 2-0 lead here in the first. Mark Heller, Eric Valois, thanks for joining us here from Isle Vista on the campus of UC Santa Barbara. Loose ball, and the save is made. That's going to be a turnover and go to the Lax Cats of Arizona. What do the Lax Cats need to do to get some kind of semblance of offense going?
They really need to take their time and not force any shots. Right now they're relying too much on outside shooting. And with the Gauchos' man-help defense, they're just not going to get it done from outside.
Now, I don't know, has Stanback even attempted a shot here in the first quarter?
I do not believe he has.
And he's your guy. I mean, you've got it there. He has it right now. Let's see what he can do. And he's quickly double-teamed.
You notice this is the Gauchos' bread and butter of their defense. They slide quickly, and they get that man-help over the top, so they really don't allow shooters to get into those good shooting alleys.
Yeah, and you definitely cannot take your eye off Stanback, as they'll make you pay. Here comes Breen, looking to go one-on-one. Strong defense by UCSB. Boy, I'll tell you what, if Mark Allen preached defense, it's worked. Great job there by C.P. Perella. Strode, behind the net, looking for an opening. Aaron Pass was looking for Stanback, and it's scooped up by her long pole, and here come the Gauchos leading 2-0. Just under 3 minutes to go here in quarter one.
Stanback hadn't lost his twig there. We might be looking at a U of A goal.
Yes, indeedy. Bucka. Behind the net, Samuel. I'll tell you what, Samuel has played extremely well for a freshman. 30 goals, 7 assists, 37 points. How's the water up there in Bellevue, Washington?
Apparently it's fantastic. I don't know what they feed those kids up there, but he has been one of the UCSB stars, and you've got to look to him in the coming years to really fill that gap that CJ Jacobs is going to leave.
I remember a long time ago in Washington, they used to make a beer called Olympia, and their slogan was, "It's the water."
Yep.
There's a turnover there and scooped up by the Lax Cats as we approach the 2-minute mark here in quarter number one. Mark Eric Valois, thanks for joining us here. There's an unforced turnover, and here come the Gauchos. Let's see if they can make them pay here in transition. Nice pass, shot on the way. Almost there, off the attempt. That was Alex Mainfow. By the way, Alex's dad is here. He's at Corona Del Mar High School. His dad wanted me to say hi to the Mainfow family. And we hope all is well with you, and thanks for tuning into this one. I think we're hearing in the background, I think there's a softball match going on behind us.
There is, unfortunately. We've got their stadium right behind us, so we apologize.
All kinds of sporting activities going on here at UCSB. Shot on the way by Morgan's going to go just wide. And as you heard him take that shot, he knocked sticks with Zach Ashurian.
It's good tight defense by University of Arizona to really not give Johnny much room to take that shot.
Well, I think they learned their lesson 2 times already.
I was going to say 2 goals early by Johnny. You got to tighten up.
Yep.
If University of Arizona has any chance of getting back in this game, they're really going to have to clean up their transition game. They've had unforced errors and really errant passes that have not given them the chance to set up on defense, or on attack, excuse me.
And once again on the attack, it's Ryan Walsh. Boy, they have had a lot of opportunities. Let's see what they can do. Jacobs. See if CJ can get himself on track here. We've got 45 seconds to go here in quarter 1. And there's a turnover and good defense by the Lax Cats. Here comes Zach Ashurian.
So let's see if University of Arizona can clean up their transition play right now. And it doesn't seem like they can.
Nope. But Zach Johnson finds his way with the ball. 27.3 seconds to go. We have a timeout on the field. Gauchos 2, Lax Cats nothing. And well, the one thing we can say, no penalties so far. It's been a clean game from that standpoint. But like you said, Arizona, they need to find a way. They really haven't found their offensive rhythm yet.
Expect them to slow the ball down here now that they've taken this timeout with 27 seconds to go. You know, they don't want to turn over and let the Gauchos go the other way and score a late quarter goal.
And we take a look at this season for UC Santa Barbara. They opened up with a victory at Stanford, blew out Cal Poly, lost, then edged Berkeley, took care of Northeastern and UNLV. Their first loss came against Colorado State, the team you mentioned, number 1, well, a 1-goal loss by the count of 11-10. So you look early on, the losses to Stanford and Colorado State both by 1. Then they beat UCLA by 5, Texas by 1, lost to Colorado by 2. I think a signature win beating Grand Canyon by 4 on the road. Probably their toughest match of the year, losing at Arizona State by 10. Blew out Claremont and LMU, destroyed USC, doubled up Sonoma State, and then the heartbreaking loss against Chapman.
You know, the CSU game was really a turning point for the Gauchos. You know, this is the first time that they met a true worthy opponent that you will see in the MCLA championship.
Okay. And then for Arizona, they opened up with a 21-0 shutout against Northern Arizona. Took care of UCLA, lost badly to Cal, lost a 1-goal game against Grand Canyon, and then beat Simon Fraser. We'll tell you about the rest of the season in the second quarter as we're down to the last 20 seconds. Let's see what Mickey Miles may have in mind here. It's probably, I would think, to try and get Stana back open.
Let's look at Andrew Cooney, who's been tasked with watching Stanaback.
Stanaback's got it, had it, lost it. We're down to the last 4 seconds, and that's probably going to wrap up this first quarter of play. From Isle Vista on the campus of UC Santa Barbara at the end of quarter number 1. It's UC Santa Barbara 2 and Arizona nothing. You're watching live exclusive action of the SLC playoffs right here on the Lacrosse Network. So the quarterfinals taking place here today, and standing in the way right now, Grand Canyon just sitting on the on-deck circle to see who they're going to meet here. The semifinals next week going to be down at UC San Diego on the Triton campus, and if you have never been to that campus, absolutely gorgeous down in La Jolla. Even if your school is not in it, it is worth a trip and a getaway weekend down to San Diego.
It's going to guarantee to be a fantastic semifinal. You know, right now, Grand Canyon's sitting here watching this game most likely on this broadcast, because why would you not? You get a look at both teams, you get the ability to scout, you get the ability to see how they performed the week before. And it's kind of a double-edged sword. You have the prep time, but you also have the downtime. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond to a week off.
And meanwhile, in the other matchup, Chapman is standing by to see will they play Arizona State or Loyola Marymount. And I think in that particular matchup, I think the Sun Devils are definitely the favorites.
Arizona State, has had a strong team all season long, and
13-2 on the year, 3-1 in league.
They have performed time and time again. And it'll be interesting to see if they do end up against Chapman, how that matchup will shake down. Chapman's got some very, very talented shooters. You know, if they're on their mark, they hit every shot. They've got a couple guys who are well into the 70% shooting percentage.
You know, Chapman University in Orange, California, once again, a stone's throw. I'm about 25 minutes away, and what a gorgeous on-campus facility they have for lacrosse. That is state-of-the-art. I mean, the field they have would make many Division I teams back on the East Coast jealous. That's how nice it is.
It is.
As we open up the second quarter of play, let's see who can win this face-off, and it is a battle. And coming away with it are the Gauchos, so they will have an opportunity once again to get their offense going, and they do change sides for each quarter.
We talked a little bit earlier about the Fogo position and how it's really developed over the years and how important it's become, and this is a prime example. You know, I bet you University of Arizona talked about how much they would have liked that first face-off, and here it is, Gauchos settling the ball on attack.
Yep. And so once again, they get another opportunity with the early 2-0 lead. 14:20 to go here in the first half. We mentioned the winner moves on to the semis and the loser can kiss their season goodbye. And Mickey Miles, he's seen just about everything that there is to see in the game. I think, what is this, his fourth stint as head coach here? Over the years, he's been there, he's left, he's been there, he's left. He just keeps coming back, and I don't think Arizona lacrosse would be the same without him.
On KEYT Channel 3.
And so once again, the Gauchos, I'd like to see them get a little more aggressive. They seem to be standing around a little bit right now.
You know, and I feel like the Gauchos have spent so much time on offense, they've got to be a little bit tired, give that crew a break.
Bucka can't handle it, and that's a unforced turnover, and let's see if the Lax Cats can take advantage of this possession.
Number 3.
Creativity is an endearing feature, but when it's creativity and giving the ball to the other team, not a good one.
Shot, score! Stanback with 13:25 to go, and if you notice, there were some quick substitutions, and during that substitution time, Arizona found themselves with numbers in transition, and Stanback was able to cash in. So for Willie Stanback, that is his 39th goal of the year. And it makes it a 2-1 game. With their offense, I mean, they definitely have scored a lot of goals. That's their 188th goal of the season, and they are a tough team to slow down. So you have to give the Gauchos credit that they were able to shut them out in the first. Look at this battle here on the face-off. And you could tell to me, it looks to me, even though the Gauchos won this, it looks like Arizona's really refocused themselves.
They're going to have to, and they're going to have to quickly. I mean, even with 1 point on the board now, they're going to have to close this gap.
Errant pass there by UC Santa Barbara, and Arizona once again on the turnover. Let's see if they can push it and get the ball movement that they need.
This has been one of Santa Barbara's weaknesses all season long, is this transition.
Bundy. Loose ball, and who wants to scoop it up? Coming away with it are the Gauchos. And they're going to get it back over to their goalie. They kind of push things up. Conrad Carlson, 191 saves on the year, just under 12 saves per game. And we spoke about his 63.7% save percentage.
Which for a goalie in the MCLA is outstanding.
I mean, if you're over 60, you're kind of hitting rarefied air. And he has done just that this year. 2-1 if you just joined us in the first quarter. Johnny Morgan with a pair of goals, his 25th and 26th of the year, gave the Gauchos a 2-0 lead. And then just moments ago, Willie Stanback with his 39th of the year. And we have ourselves a 2-1 score. Gauchos on offense in their white with gold numbers and blue helmets. And Arizona in their blue and white with red trim. Shot on the way, and it's going to go just wide off the attempt by Ryan Walsh. C.J. Jacobs, they've done a good job bottling Jacobs up today. He's been very quiet.
They have.
Today.
You know, and this is what I like about that combination of Johnny
Morgan, shot, and it hits the goalpost and bounces up, and it's picked up by Bucka. Oh boy, the goalpost right there gave the Lax Cats a break.
It's the goalie's best friend.
It sure is. Shot on the way, it's going to go wide. And it's picked up by Strock. And here come the Lax Cats trying to get some momentum. You can kind of feel the momentum shift kind of taking place slowly but surely.
University of Arizona has done a fantastic job of bottling up C.J. Jacobs, like you said. However, they have left Johnny Morgan open, and he's put 2 in the back of the net because of it. So look for this following, 10 minutes, if not next half, for them to mark up on Johnny Morgan and potentially leave C.J. Jacobs open.
Here come the Cats. It's Stanneback, just scored moments ago to make it a 2-1 match. They'll give up top. And let's see what the Lax Cats can do right here. It's Jordan Goldstein, the senior out of Seattle. 5'7", 150, 7 goals, 4 assists, 11 points on the year. All of a sudden, it's gotten very quiet. I feel like it's a golf match, and I should talk like Jim Nance. The kick up top. Nothing doing. Errant pass there by Bobby Ecker, the senior out of Palos Verdes, midfielder. And we'll go over to UC Santa Barbara. Wind kind of picking up. Do you think this plays any factor in this game at all?
It will. It will definitely play a factor, especially in the clears from the long poles and the goalie. They're making, what a check.
Yep. And the Lax Cats gain possession, and they can hurry up here. I'm sure Stanneback's going to let it fly. Looks to set up one of his teammates. Aaron past Luke Strode can't corral it. And it's going to go to UC Santa Barbara. I thought in that situation, Stanneback should have just taken it right to the goal.
He should have. There's no reason to make that pass into traffic.
Yep, and it looked like, they had the numbers in transition. And that was how he scored his first goal. Here comes UC Santa Barbara. 9:40 to go here in the first half in a 2-1 match. Defense has definitely been the staple of this one so far in this low-scoring affair.
If I'm not mistaken, all of the turnovers for both teams have been unforced errors.
Yep.
So both these teams are going to have to clean up passing and catching. Fundamentals wins games.
And I'm sure Coach Allen and Coach Mickey Miles will be talking about that with their teams during the halftime festivities of this one.
Coach Mike Allen at the Gauchos came from an Ivy League school at Princeton, and that is a game that is precision. It's all about passing, catching. It's getting that ball to that box.
Well, a matter of fact, Princeton won the national championships when he was there 96, 97, and 1998. Now, the only thing during his playing days was that his teammates included 3 guys who were All-Americans, Jesse Hubbard, John Hess, and Chris Maffey. So he didn't get that much of an opportunity to play. He said it was fun to watch and be coached by Coach Tierney, but he didn't have the opportunity. Shot, score!
What a rip.
Morgan with the hat trick, and it comes with 8:31 to go here in the first half. Gauchos' lead is 3-1.
And that right there is a lesson on shooting. He got the goalie moving. He threw in a little fake, and he changed levels.
I'll tell you what, there are just no doubters when Morgan lets it rip. And we should mention the young man out of La Costa Canyon. They are a power down in San Diego. Last spring, we had the opportunity to broadcast that San Diego Boys Championship game between La Costa Canyon and Torrey Pines. Do you know the last 7 times those 2 high schools have played, it's been a 1-goal contest? Just unbelievable how well matched those 2 teams are and the high skill level.
What great lacrosse to watch.
Yep, and then the other game between Bishops and Coronado had an opportunity to watch a Junior Seau son who's going to be playing lacrosse over at Duke next year. And he is built and he is big just like Papa.
I'm sure he is.
And anyone that knows Junior Seau, not only was Junior a great football player at Oceanside, he was also an all-county basketball performer. I mean, that gentleman was able to do it all and obviously athletically pass those genes along to his son. So here we're at 3-1. Lax Cats trying to get it back to 1 goal here with 7:40 to go in the first half.
Number 5, Maylin Mitchell.
There's a Gauchos long pole handling his business behind the crease on defense. That was excellent.
Shot on the way. It's going to go just wide. Good job by the goalie, Conrad Carlson. Sometimes you got to come out of the pipes, and he picked the right opportunity to do it. Anything surprise you about this match so far, Eric?
Just how many unforced turnovers there have been. Usually most of these teams, especially in playoffs, you expect clean play. You expect them to be on point with their passing. You expect them to be on point with their shooting. And so far from both teams, we've seen an unusual amount of passes thrown wide.
Let's see if CJ can get things going. The senior out of Los Alamitos. 45 ground balls, 29 goals, 40 points, but they have held him in check, and obviously they've done their scouting report. Shot on the way. That one's going to go wide off the attempt by Ryan Walsh. And one thing about Walsh, he's not bashful about letting it fly. That's, I think, about his 7th shot attempt of this first half.
Oh, yeah, and he definitely gets that from his brother who played at UC Davis.
Brendan Felix. They're going to swing it over to Zach Ashurian. Ashurian, the long pole defenseman. Good job by the Gauchos, and they're able to cause the turnover. Let's see what they can do. Morgan. He's been nothing short of spectacular here in the first half. That ball's going to go out of bounds and should go to the Lax Cats, and it will. 6:09 to go here in the first half at Isle Vista on the campus of UC Santa Barbara.
And this is a very typical clear that we see from the Lax Cats right now. They call it the 3-1-3, where they've got 3 guys, 1 in the midfield and 3 up top to really push that fast-paced transition. The one unusual thing is they usually put a shorty down low, let them run it over, so you're not getting that big clunky pole in the way.
Right now it's Theodore Walter, the freshman, 6'4", 190 from Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Shot on the way, nicely scooped up by Carlson off the attempt by Stanback. He was looking for goal number 2. Nice job by Jacobs to get away from traffic into the attack for UC Santa Barbara. Jacobs wheels, deals, shoots, and the save is made by Strzok.
One thing that I really like about the way CJ Jacobs plays is his composure on the field.
And so it will go to the Lax Cats with 5:22 to go. The one thing I think Jacobs decided, he's like, hey, I haven't attempted a shot all match long. I have to at least get myself into the shot attempt category. He did that right there, did not come up with the goal. However, I think it was important maybe for CJ's mentally, to say, hey, I need to be a part of this offense.
Sometimes it's just breaking that seal. It's getting that first shot out, whether it's a good one or a bad one, it's just getting it there. Let it fly.
Yep, here comes Nolan Baker. He wears number 2. Freshman defender out of Long Beach. I think we've got a timeout. We do with 5:01 to go here in the first half. With your score, the UC Santa Barbara 3 and Arizona 1. You're watching exclusive action of the SLC playoffs on the Lacrosse Network. We should make mention of the following. Anyone who is interested in getting a copy of today's match, DVD copies are available for $20. You can email president at slc-lax.org, and that will go to Matt Holman, the SLC president, the head honcho himself. So for $20, you can have a copy of this one. And our pleasure to bring you the best of lacrosse. Well, it has been a quick season. It seemed just like the regular season started just yesterday. Back in February, I was down at Sage Hill High School doing the Concordia St. Mary's match. And, Concordia is a great story in Division II as they went undefeated in their league. And they're certainly a team that you can expect some good things from. Coach McMinn has done a really good job with that Eagle program. And, for a long time, he was really working as like a part-time head coach, and he finally got hired on full-time by the program. And, as small a school as Concordia is, within the last 2.5 years, the men have won a basketball national championship. And both the men and women's volleyball teams have won national championships on the NAIA level. And it's a very small school in Irvine, California. If you really don't know what street to turn off of, you're going to pass by the campus. It's that small. But I'll tell you, sometimes there is mighty in small numbers, and Concordia Eagles prove that point. Back to action. Arizona. Let's see what the Lax Cats can do. Oh, what a wonderful hit on defense by David Abity, the freshman out of Huntington Beach, 6'1", 200-pounder. And you can tell by that hit he probably played some football during his days with the Oilers.
And there's that size advantage I was talking about earlier. The Lax Cats are well undersized on attack, and the UCSB Gauchos have just been able to handle them quite easily.
Yep. Nevitt got it across, and Nevitt, another one of those guys from San Diego out of Coronado, 6'1", 185. And let's see what they can do offensively with Aaron Bucca. Bucca, double team, now passes behind the cage. Trying to set up, shoot, and score! So just like that, it is a 4-1 score with 4:09 to go here in the first half. And that's Aaron Morgan with was that Morgan on the goal?
I believe it was.
Yep, so for Morgan, that's his 4th goal of the game. He has tallied all the goals for this team here today.
And that play all started by the defensive play with Ben Bren, wearing number 25 for the Lax Cats. He took an aggressive check trying to get that ball out of the stick of the UCSB Gaucho and gave up his defensive positioning, which allowed the ball to move quickly and ended up in the back of the net.
So right now, really, if you look at the goal scorers, it's Morgan 4 and Stanovac 1. And the Lax Cats have got to get some kind of offense going. Trailing by 3 here on the road. Lose and go home. Shot on the way, score! That is doing it in transition. It's Sammy Bradley, the long pole midi out of Agoura Hills. The 5'9", 170-pounder gets Arizona back within 2. So that was 16 seconds in between goals. And for Bradley, that's his 5th goal of the season. Let's see who can win this face-off here.
Another face-off win by the Gauchos.
Yep, and the Gauchos have done well in that category here today. And we have a timeout. 3:42 to go in the first half. UC Santa Barbara 4 and Arizona 2. So just when you think the Lax Cats are down and out, they find a way offensively to come up with a goal, and they certainly needed that one that they got moments ago from Sammy Bradley. How recently was this new field unveiled here on campus?
February. So it's only a couple months old.
So just the first season here.
It is the first season.
Yeah, earlier I passed by when I was walking from the parking lot. I saw the old grass facility, and I'll tell you, this is some upgrade. It's really state-of-the-art. The only problem you're going to have is that if lacrosse ends up becoming extremely popular over time, where will everyone sit? That's the only possible issue, and you hope someday to have that problem.
Exactly. We'd love to get to the point where the sport's big enough that we have seating issues.
So we take a look. Well, we know Arizona, they've traveled well. They've got a nice contingency. Plus, on top of it, they're selling all of kinds of University of Arizona gear.
It's the fundraising that comes along with being able to travel.
Yeah. No, I don't see anyone selling any UC Santa Barbara gear. What's with that, Eric?
I don't know. We've got to get on the captains at UCSB to make sure that they've got their merchandise at every single game.
I'll tell you, the coaching staff for Arizona, the assistants Tim Katz, Matt Duke Rosati, Connor Roberg, Eugene Chun, and of course the head guy himself, Mickey Miles Felton, who I have dubbed the Tucson Cowboy. We got 3:40 to go. Let's see what the Gauchos do coming here out of the timeout. What do you look for offensively?
We really look to slow down Arizona. Both of their goals have been on transition, so you really want to take your time in the offensive zone. Make sure you move the ball well. You capitalize on the shots given. Unlike that one, which he rips wide, the UCSB Gauchos have not done a good job of getting themselves into angles.
Yep, and that shot did go just wide.
Instead of taking that shot, move it 1 or 2 more times, look for a better angle, and really take your time on these shots. No need to force it. You're up by 2 goals in the first half.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Trying to set up loose ball scramble, picked up by the Lax Cats. Who wants it? No, now coming away with it, UC Santa Barbara. So they'll try once again. Shot just goes wide. And the one thing that I think I noticed, I believe that there was a jersey change. Conrad Carlson normally wears 18, but I think Kevin Bowles has been wearing that number today, because I haven't seen a 16 on the field, yet you see 18 on the attack for UC Santa Barbara. So I have a feeling Bowles is wearing 18 today.
At your beach and eat there too. Fans, the Gauchos are heading out to Hawaii next weekend. Can't make the trip.
They kick up top, moving around, looking for the good shot as we approach 2.5 minutes to go in this first half. You'll find out. Over the years, there's always number changes that occur. They just want to see if we're paying attention here at home. Did you know when Morgan had it, 3 Cat defenders right around them?
Oh, yeah, and we're going to start to notice that because Johnny Morgan has put so many points on the board, they're going to start.
Oh, he took his eye off the ball for just a second. Loose ball scramble. And here comes Arizona. Had it, lost it, re-corralled it, now pushing it. This is going to be a battle right at the midfield stripe. And Arizona comes away with it. Well, they did for a minute. Boy, who wants that thing? It's a slippery slope, and finally the Gauchos come away with it. I think that was the sloppiest play that we've seen in the match here today. Bucko with it. And we have a timeout call by the Gauchos. 1:43 to go. UC Santa Barbara 4 and Arizona 2. It's the SLC quarterfinals. The winner moves on to the semis and takes on Grand Canyon on the campus of UC San Diego. And then the championship game, that is going to be played, I'm trying to think which campus that is down in San Diego, which high school that is. I lost that in my notes, but when I re-corral it and figure it out, I'll tell you where that's going to be. But I'll tell you, if you haven't been at San Diego, some of the newer high schools, they have just absolutely gorgeous football lacrosse facilities, truly state-of-the-art. And San Diego has really embraced the game of lacrosse. And in California, it's the quickest growing high school sport in the state of California.
It is. It's been a phenomenal addition for the universities around here as well, because as you said earlier, we had 6 starting Southern California kids on the Gauchos lineup.
That indeed. We take a look at some of the other conferences that you've got, the Rocky Mountain League, where you've got Colorado, CSU, and BYU. I think there might be an opportunity maybe for all 3 of those to qualify.
I wouldn't put it past them. CU has came here and beat the Gauchos in a very tight-knit game, but they're impressive to watch. They've got an outstanding goalie who makes saves when he needs to. Most importantly, the discipline, and they have got the biggest roster I have ever seen. It's more like an army than a lacrosse team.
Rocky, and then the Pacific Northwest includes, of course, your Oregon schools and Simon Fraser from the Great White North up in Canada. Lone Star includes your Texas schools, SELC, all the teams from the South, including Florida State and Virginia Tech. So we get back to action here with 1:38. What do you think Coach was telling his team during the timeout?
Composure. They've got to stay composed because they ran the same play 2 times in a row.
Oh, boy, that was a collision there off the shot attempt by Mark Lorimore, the sophomore out of Los Alamitos. He really had his clock cleaned on that one.
It looks like he's shaking up, limping off the field there.
Yeah, understandably so. Boy, he took a hard hit right there. I don't know, maybe if he got hit in the solar plexus as he attempted that shot. Here comes Bundy. Bundy on the attack for the Lax Cats, an opportunity to get within 1 here. If you're Mickey Miles and you can be within 1 as we hit the 1-minute mark of this first half, that would be huge for this Lax Cat team, which had to travel 12 hours to play here today.
I think the Lax Cats would be lucky to get out of this first half only down by 1.
Strode was looking for the shot attempt, but quickly got double T. Shot fake, now on the way, score! Oh, boy, that's a good old-fashioned rip and grip, isn't it?
It is, and he got away with one there. Conrad was just a second late on that rip, stick side high.
That is Walter with the goal, and it comes with 40.6 seconds to go.
Let's go, Cat!
That was just a huge goal in this match. And for Walter, that is goal number 19 on the season and his 33rd point. So they were down as many as 4-1. They've scored the last 2 goals. It's 4-3. Morgan shoots, and it goes just wide. And a nice save there by the goalie, Struck. And let's see what the Lax Cats can do. They actually have an opportunity to try and tie this game at the end of the first half.
Here we go. We got 10 seconds left in this first half. Let's see if the Gauchos can get it out safely.
They have an opportunity maybe for one last push. That's going to go wide, and 1.8 seconds to go. And wow, if you are a Lax Cat fan, you have to be more than happy than the second quarter performance. They came up with 3 goals. Morgan had a pair in the first to make it 2-0. Saddleback got the Lax Cats on the board 2-1. Goals once again by Morgan. Made it 4-1, but then Bradley and Walter scoring late in the first half. And at halftime, we have a 1-goal game. It's UC Santa Barbara 4 and the University of Arizona 3. It'll be halftime festivities and second half action when we return. You're watching exclusive action of the SLC quarterfinals on the Lacrosse Network.
Jessica Tetzlaff.
You're doing a very good job, young man.
Thank you. Is anybody called on that phone?
Not that I've noticed.
I don't know. Here, why don't you give that to Ted? Well, I was going to ask you, you know how in the past when I've worked with Samir where people...
Behind the black tent, you can get a Gatorade.
TLN SMS alerts are the best way to stay up to date with the latest videos from the Lacrosse Network. Be the first to know about all of our live games, giveaways, and videos by getting TLN alerts straight to your phone. To sign up, just click the phone icon in the top right corner of our channel and input your mobile phone number. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Network for the best in lacrosse content.
Honey, you do me wrong, but still I'm crazy.
I'm Kyle Harrison. You're watching Free Stuff Friday. That's phenomenal.
Greg from East Coast Eyes.
Greg? What's up, guys? This is Paul Rabel, and you're watching Free Stuff Friday.
Doesn't feel like I'm running on the field, like I gotta get away.
Aloha, Tanner, let's go, John.
Hey, we're USC Women's Lacrosse, and you're watching Free Stuff Friday.
Hi guys, I'm Brody Merrill, and welcome to Free Contest Friday.
That's perfect.
Is that right? I don't know. Get up there.
That's perfect. It's Free Stuff Friday, but that makes for a much better intro.
TLN SMS alerts are the best way to stay up to date with the latest videos from the Lacrosse Network. Be the first to know about all of our live games, giveaways, and videos by getting TLN alerts straight to your phone. To sign up, just click the phone icon in the top right corner of our channel and input your mobile phone number. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Network for the best in lacrosse content.
Honey, you do me wrong, but still I'm crazy.
I mean, are we kidding me right now? Do you really think that you being on a phone and not listening to me is going to help you?
We're just a little over a minute away from the start of second half action between UC Santa Barbara and the University of Arizona. Along with Eric Valois, I'm Mark Keller. Thanks for joining us here in Isle Vista on the campus of UC Santa Barbara, where the Gauchos dominated most of the first half, but Arizona scored 2 late goals at the 3:53 and 40.6 second mark to make it a 1-goal game. And right now, Coach Mickey Miles' team has a whole lot of momentum during the halftime chat.
Now, let's expect the Lax Cats to come out hard on the Gauchos right now. Hard and composed, okay? Last half, the Lax Cats spent so much time on defense that any time that they transitioned the ball into the offensive zone, they threw it away really quick. You know, they got eager, they got overconfident, and they took some unforced errors and some pretty terrible shots. So let's expect them now to come out with the fire that they finished the first half with, but with a little bit better decision making.
Your predictions. Who gets the automatic bid out of this conference, and who wins the national championship?
It's looked very strong. ASU's looked very strong. Grand Canyon's looked very strong, and obviously my Gauchos have looked very strong. So other than that, we don't know. National championship, we're looking at CSU. Let's go to the field to hear this opening faceoff.
Yep. Here we go. It's Fogo City. Who wants it?
It's out. It's out.
Gauchos come. Do the Gauchos come away? No, it's Arizona. Here come the Cats.
Damn it! No turnovers!
That was just a great soundbite we had as we have Darren Hansen, one of the officials, all mic'd up. And here come the Gauchos in transition, trying to score the first goal of this second half.
And right there, that's the impatience that we're talking about of that Lax Cat crew. They came up with a nice win with their Fogo specialist, and then they got down the offensive zone and threw the ball away.
Walsh. They'll swing it around. Behind the goal, it's Johnny Morgan, the ever dangerous. Scored all 4 goals in the first half for the Gauchos. Key is, let's see if the Gauchos can get someone else going offensively.
It looks to me as if University of Arizona has switched up their defensive strategy. Before they were playing some man-to-man defense, and now it looks like they're playing some help man. Let's see if they continue sliding well.
And we'll go to Arizona. So we mentioned on the onset of this broadcast, the Lax Cats only carrying 20 players with them here, so not a big roster. And on top of it, a couple of the guys who were supposed to come on the trip suffered from food poisoning and are hanging out back in Tucson. Yet, despite all that, they're within 1 goal and still have a great opportunity to make it to the semis next week in San Diego. When you do take a look at these two teams, the Gauchos definitely overall are the bigger team. They definitely have a height advantage. Foster Bundy kicks up top. Breen with the shot. It goes wide, and they'll keep possession. Yet sometimes you can be small but mighty.
And that's the exact kind of shot you want to see as a goaltender.
Stanneback shoots and scores!
What a roll.
We are tied at 4 with 13:07 to go here in the third quarter.
Let's go, Cats!
That was a great left-handed shot from the left-handed wing on a great bounce shot to that top corner off stick side.
Boy, Stanneback just let that one fly. Boy, when guys are top goal scorers, it's just really tough to contain them.
It is. And one of the biggest things that we saw right there is the defense overcommitted. You know, he got eager, he left his feet to try to make that hit, and Stanneback capitalized on a big rollback lefty.
So we are now tied at 4. So after trailing 4-1, they have scored 3 consecutive goals, have the Lax Cats. Almost a mistake made there, but now picked up. Let's see what the Gauchos can do here in transition. So Stanneback scores his 40th goal of this season. And when you get up to the 40-goal mark, you're a guy who obviously is capable of scoring.
You draw some attention from some defenses, and even if you aren't the ones putting the points on the board, you're distracting defenses enough to give your teammates opportunities to put points on.
And if you're UC Santa Barbara, you want to see someone other than Johnny Morgan scoring a goal for your squad. I mean, Morgan's done a phenomenal job, but other guys have got to contribute in that area. Morgan I'm not sure if that was a shot or a pass.
Gauchos maintained possession, so the referees must have called it a shot.
Yep, okay.
Kind of surprising after they ruled the one that went wide over the cage just as a pass.
Yep. They tried to set up Morgan once again, did Aaron Bucka, but that pass went high and wide. And I think they might have called a stick in the back, and the Gauchos are going to keep possession. We've had no power plays, no man-up situations. Very rare in lacrosse we've gotten this deep into the game without one.
It is, and that just stands to tell you how phenomenal these two coaches are. They really stress this clean play.
Morgan had it, lost it. Who wants to come away and scoop it? Boy, some hard play down there.
Nicely done. Woo! Come on, 33.
And finally, it's the Gauchos who come away with it. Bucka. He wears number 8, working his way right side. And now we're hearing a couple of the Arizona fans not happy with the last non-call that took place. And I guess if you've traveled 12 hours, I guess you have a right to complain.
You absolutely do.
Laura Moore, number 42. Let's see what they can get going right here. We approach the 11-minute mark. Nice defense by the Lax Cats, and we're going to have a penalty.
First one of the game. Let's see if we can't pick this up here.
Yep. And also a little barking going on at the end of that one. Kyle Sieglin of UC Santa Barbara.
Going to the referees.
Yep. Let the official make the call.
Sorry, sir. 2 on the hit.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, that was Nolan Baker.
4-4 for your team, Nolan, not you. Let's go. Sir. All right. We're good. We're good.
And so our first power play situation going to be man up. That's 30 seconds, right?
It is.
Okay, let's see what they can do right here. 11:01. This is, I think, this may be the most critical possession of this match up until now. And that the Gauchos need to try and get some momentum back into this game. And tied at 4, they have an opportunity to regain the lead. A lead that they've had throughout the match until moments ago.
It is, and they play. Wow, it looks like we're going 2 men down for 2 minutes on non-releasable fouls. I am interested to see what that was all about. Now, normally the Lax Cats are very aggressive on the perimeter in their man-down situations, but with 2 men down for 2 minutes, we're going to find out what they're going to do.
Also, John Fricky was the other one that got whistled, and right now he's the only one they have on the board.
So they took off the penalty for 2.
They took it off Baker, and they put it on Fricky.
And right now we are going to go to the president of the SLC for that explanation.
Just checking in with you guys. I want to make sure that's a 2-minute penalty on 47. 2 minute is a blow to the head, and it's unreleasable.
And thank you for that.
Thanks a lot, Matt, for that update. Yeah, it's great when you have people wired up, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Shot on the way, score!
And that's the kind of involvement you need from other players other than Johnny Morgan and CJ Jacobs. What a fantastic shot.
Yep. And so they're able to take a 5-4 lead, and it didn't take much time on the man-up situation that comes at the 10:27 mark. And who was it that scored that one?
I believe it was number 16, Kevin Bowles.
Okay, so Bowles with the goal.
And right there, because of the blow-to-head foul, it is a non-releasable foul, so they're going to stay.
Yep. And for Bowles, his 23rd goal of the year.
And right there, we had a jump early on the Lax Cats, so it's Gaucho ball.
And if they can find a way to score another goal, boy, talk about a momentum changer in this match. Good ball movement here, obviously, with the man up. Shot on the way, nice save made, rebound. And Strock with the save. Came up with a nice pair of saves right there from point-blank range.
That's Ryan Lieber getting stuffed 2 times in a row. And you got young shooters out there, you got to move the ball and change the angle of attack. You can't expect to take 2 shots from the same position and have it go in.
Yep. So they still have 36 seconds on the man up. Bowles scored. And they're looking for more.
We've got about 25 seconds left on that first foul.
Yep. Jacobs, he's the guy I'd look for here if you can't find Morgan open. Good ball movement. now behind the net. Jacobs up top, swings right side, Bucka. Bucka setting up down low, shot, score!
From our man, Johnny Morgan, once again. What great ball movement to the perimeter to work into the crease.
But that was a beautiful pass by Bucka to set him up.
What a feed, and that's exactly the kind of hookups that you need.
So for Morgan, that's his 29th goal of the year. It comes at the 9:06 mark, and they still have 5 seconds left on the man up. But that has been the story right now of this game, has been that 2-minute penalty, and Santa Barbara was able to turn it into 2 goals. So if the Gauchos should hold on to win, you're definitely going to have to look at that penalty call against John Fricky as the difference in this one. And so the man-up opportunity is over, but the turnover by the Lax Cats. And here come the Gauchos. They are looking for more. They are feeling it is all on their side right now. Here comes Walsh.
Now batting, number 7, Jessica.
The Gauchos in the first half took some very, what I like to call low percentage shots. They took some very rush shots from bad angles, and they seem to have made that adjustment now, getting to good angles, getting the good feeds in, and really burying the chances that they need.
Perella swings right side. They get behind the net. 8:26 to go here in the third. 6-4 Gauchos lead. If you just joined us, John Fricky got nailed for a 2-minute penalty. It was unreleasable, and the Gauchos were able to score 2 goals during that man-up. That pass goes wide, and they keep it alive. Good hustle there for the Gauchos to be able to retain possession. Morgan. You know he's got one thing on his mind, and it's all about a goal. He's got 5 of the 6 here this afternoon.
What a pickup right there by Connor Malarkey.
Perella looking down low for Morgan. Loose ball. We've got a penalty, and I think we're going to have another man-up situation here for the Gauchos with 7:48 to go.
Let's go to the referee to see if...
2 slash.
Yep, that's Nolan Baker. They get him for a slash.
2, we got 2 slashes on 2 blue, 2 slashes. You're on 1 minute for 2 minutes. It's all released if they score.
Okay, so this one's releasable, but it's a 2-minute penalty. Actually, 1 minute against Baker. And so the Gauchos, boy, going to look for more. And if you're Mickey Miles right now, you got to be kicking yourself. It's mistakes like this. Now they do make it 2 minutes. It's mistakes like this that are the difference between winning and losing matches, Eric.
You know, and right now what I'm seeing out of the Lax Cats is that inability to control your emotions. The Gauchos have spent so much time on offense that they're really getting into the heads of these long stick defenders and forcing them to take terrible penalties that put your team down. You know, if the Gauchos capitalize with 2 more goals, that's not a recoverable offense.
Correct. They swing right side behind the net. Good ball movement here. Obviously, they could feel pretty good about themselves with a 2-goal lead. Bucka. They swing it. You know you're looking for Morgan. I mean, that's a given at this point of the match. Bucka thought about it. Looking to set up his teammate Morgan. Back to Bucka. Bucka shoots wide, and a nice save made there by Strock. So if you're Arizona right now, you just want to try and take as much time as possible off that clock. Down to 1:15 on the man-up situation.
The one thing that I really like about the Gaucho scores, and
ooh, look at this.
What a strip by, I believe that's Ryan Lieber.
It is. And coming away with it for Arizona is Zach Ashurian. He's into the attacking zone right now. Remember, the Cats, the Lax Cats are down 1 player here. Infraction against Arizona goes to the Gauchos. So UC Santa Barbara wants to push it. They want another goal. They know how important it is to try and give themselves a 3-goal cushion. Just under 6.5 to go here in the third.
Back to what I was saying about the UCSB goal scorers, is there's guys like CJ and there's guys like Johnny who can take the rip when they need to, but they're very willing to dish the ball to their teammates, let their teammates bury it in the back, and that unselfish play is why the Gauchos have had such a successful season.
And Jacobs just let it rip moments ago, went wide, but they're able to keep possession.
He's going to connect
There's
on one
CJ.
of these.
Setting up Morgan. Morgan doesn't have it, but we sure know that he can shoot it. Shot on the way is going to go wide there by Bucka. Good idea. Just the execution was not there. Gauchos still with 14 seconds on the man up here. Let's see if they could put one in between the pipes. Shot on the way. Oh, beautiful save by Strock. Morgan was thinking for a moment that he had goal number 6.
I think Johnny was barely off right there. And there
and shot and score! Right when the man-up opportunity ended.
That's Ryan Lieber capitalizing on a great outlet.
And so Lieber scores at the 5:46 mark. 7-4 your score. That is a huge goal in this game. Lieber normally not a goal-scoring type for you, but he comes up here. And that is his 11th goal of the year. So capable of scoring, has just been quiet here today. But that's his 11th of the year. They go up 7-4.
You know, guys like Ryan Lieber are constantly overshadowed, like guys like Johnny Morgan, CJ Jacobs. Again, when you have guys that are scoring 40 goals a season, you can be a great goal scorer and only get 10, 11, 12 goals a year.
Yep.
But his time will come.
Cooney passing it into the attack, getting their offense going. Bowles, they work it behind the net. Up 7-4. Right now they're feeling it. It's all about momentum, and right now the Gauchos have it all. Perella. Behind the net. Aaron pass. Scooped up by the Lax Cats. And here comes Arizona. Here comes Breen. They need to get something going. He's a guy who can click for them, but he has been quiet here today. Their goals have come by Stanback with a pair.
All right, let's
Walter has one.
See how they mark up on Stanback here, since he did get that lefty shot from that left-hand side.
Yep, and also Sammy Bradley with a goal. 7-4 your score. We approach 4.5 minutes to go here in quarter 3. Breen gives a fake. He wants to let it rip. He does, and the save is made. Scramble. Gauchos are able to scoop up that ground ball. Good job by the Gauchos.
The one thing that I really like about Arizona's offense right now is they're getting those long pulls out of the X spot and out of crease defense. You know, generally you want your long pulls on the Dodgers up top and the guys behind the crease, because that's where you can be most dangerous. And so far, the motion and the movement caused by Arizona attack has really gotten the Gauchos to get shorties on Dodgers, which is difficult to defend.
Well, somehow they've been able to do it, and they've got the 3-goal lead, and they have the ball, and they're looking for more. The winner to take on Grand Canyon in the semis down at UC San Diego a week from today. Walsh to Bucka, back to Walsh. Walsh has really been their point guy in running their half-court offense. Morgan, save made by Strock. I think you know anytime Morgan has it, he's going to rip and grip.
Let's see, we got a push on the Lax Cats, and the ball goes back to the Gauchos.
3:13 to go here in the third, and the Gauchos up by 3, 7-4. Bucka. Shot on the way, and the save made once again, but the rebound is scooped up. And the Gauchos with another opportunity here.
The one adjustment that I don't think the Gauchos have realized or made yet is the fact that this young goalie is a lefty. They keep shooting to that left side for off-stick side. They got to go righty, which is difficult to do for shooters who practice on a righty goalie every day.
What percentage of goalies are lefties as that shot goes wide?
1 in 10. You know, not many goalies are lefty in general. Lacrosse seems to be a right-hand dominated world. You know, you look at
I think a lot of life is that way.
Exactly. It's unfortunate for guys like me who are lefties.
Well, you think about right desks, right? They're made for people who are righties as that shot goes wide off the attempt by CJ Jacobs.
This is my little rant for the day. Left-handed or right-handed scissors have got to be the most frustrating thing in the world, because for us lefties, they just don't cut anything.
I love it. That's good stuff, Eric. 2:12 to go here in the third. We've gone back and forth. Gauchos led it 4-3 at halftime. Arizona tied it at 4, but since then it's been goals by Bowles, Morgan, and Lieber to make it a 7-4 match.
I really like this kid, Aaron Bucka, right now, who's done a fantastic job of making the right plays.
Well, I'm expecting anything less from an Orange County youngster.
Exactly.
Out of Northwood High School, home of the Timberwolves.
And there's another unforced error by the Lax Cats.
You gotta take care, have to value each and every possession, and the Lax Cats really have not done that.
And another one. I mean, the Lax Cats are throwing balls all over the place.
Yep. Good defense and scooped up by UC Santa Barbara. That's David Abity. He's had a good game on defense today as Abity, and you love seeing these young kids as a freshman, cracking the starting lineup. They're going to be long-time contributors, and you can just mark his name in the starting lineup each and every game.
McDonald's is a proud sponsor of Gaucho Athletics. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Let's see what Arizona can do here right now. Trailing by 3, just under 1 minute to go here in the quarter. They would like to close out with a goal. Blake Samuel, he's been real quiet. 30 goals on the season, has not scored today.
I think the athleticism of the Gaucho defense has just been really able to keep up with all the dodgers that Arizona has.
Yeah, the physicality has definitely been the difference. No doubt about it.
It has. What a pickoff right there.
Yep. And here come the Gauchos. They got numbers if they hurry with 27 seconds to go here in the third quarter, and the Gauchos up by 3.
And I believe that was Andrew Cooney. I can't tell, though.
Loose ball now finally scrambled and picked up. Blake Overholt. Down to the last few seconds. Let's see what they can do with 5 seconds. Shot on the way, Morgan. Yes! Oh my! 3.8 seconds to go. And Morgan with his 6th goal of this match.
Someone start throwing those hats because this kid deserves it. That's a double hat trick on the day by a beautiful feed from 16, Kevin Bowles.
Yep, and Morgan with his 30th goal of the season. I mean, he has just been on fire.
My question is, what is the Arizona coaching staff doing to defend him? I mean, so far they don't seem like they've made any adjustments to face guard. They don't seem like they've made any adjustments to slide. They're going to have to do something drastically different here in the final quarter to really shut him down.
Well, we got 15 more minutes to play at the end of 3 from Isle Vista on the campus of UC Santa Barbara. It's the Gauchos 8 and the Lax Cats 4. You're watching SLC action right here on the Lacrosse Network.
Well, let's see. We're doing a couple stick measurements, see if we can't catch anybody guilty of breaking the rules.
How often do they check the sticks?
Usually 2 at the end of every quarter.
And is it simply random?
It is pretty random. The coaching staffs can request stick checks if they feel that anyone's illegal. If you request a stick check after a goal scorer and the goal scorer's stick is illegal, they wipe that goal and it's a change of possession.
So if you're a coach, can you literally question it after every single goal? Or do the refs frown upon that?
The refs frown upon that, and that comes into the sportsmanship issue. Is if you're requesting a stick check after every goal, eventually the referees are going to say, you know what, enough is enough. They kind of laugh you off the field, but it doesn't seem like this was a requested stick check. This seems like a stick check at random, which, again, keeps them honest.
We should mention, if you'd like to get a DVD copy of today's match, it's just $20. You can email the president at slc-lax.org, and that'll go to Matt Holman, the SLC president. Just $20. Great memories to commemorate a victory for your club, especially if you're a parent and you have proud of your son's play here today, or you're simply a fan of one of these programs, or just in lacrosse in general. You know, when we've covered matches before in the past and we've done through social media, we have heard from people not only throughout the country, from different countries throughout the world. And that just tells you how much of a global sport lacrosse is.
You know, it's getting bigger every year. You know, let's see. It seems like a false start on the Gauchos, and Arizona takes possession.
Yep, and I'll tell you what, they need each and every possession here is going to become oh so crucial here in the fourth as they trail 8-4. So scoring by quarters, 2-0 in the first for UC Santa Barbara, 3-2 Arizona in the second, and 4-3 UC Santa Barbara in the third. 8-4 is where we stand. You definitely have to look more towards Willie Stanback as he's done a nice job here for them, scoring 2 of their 4 goals. Aaron pass there. That's one of those unforced turnovers you've been talking about, Eric Valois.
It is. It's killing the Lax Cats right now. You know, the Gauchos were nowhere near that attacker with the ball, and yet he threw it away. And what a transition pass that was.
And where was the defense?
I don't know. It seems to me like the mental breakdowns at University of Arizona are what's killing them this game.
That was Alex Mainthau who had it into the attack. He goes to the sideline as they do some substitutions on the fly. And how do you determine when to make a substitution in this lacrosse match, which it's quick play end to end? We saw that one time, remember, an Arizona goal where off transition, Arizona got numbers and was able to score a goal.
That was a terrible call by the Gaucho coaching staff to make that.
I want you to sugarcoat what you're saying, Eric.
Yeah, it's. You have to play that game of when do we sub, when we don't, and sometimes you have to take the risk of throwing an attacker or a short stick midi in the defensive zone. Simply
shot, save, loose ball, rebound. Who wants it? We'll get your thought on the rest of that in a moment. That was close to a goal right there, and I think the Lax Cats were able to dodge a bullet.
But like right now, the Gauchos made a smart substitution and left some people on the field, and it prevented a goal, in my opinion. But that one where they scored on transition was...
Shot attempt on the way by Willie Stanback, and the save made by Conrad Carlson. And Carlson, I think, has been stellar between the pipes here today.
He has. He's really forced shooters into bad shooting angles and forced them to shoot wide a lot of the time.
Yep. Look at the physicality of the defense of the Gauchos when Arizona is close to that goal.
You know, I've got to give Luke Strode, number 8, on the Lax Cats props, because he has been taking a pounding all day long from David Abity.
He has. And he's a whole lot bigger and stronger.
That kid's going to go home and need some ice bath.
Whoop, loose ball there by Stanback. He was ready to let it fly, and the ball came flying out of his stick. However, it's re-corralled by Theodore Walter. Walter's pass. That one just seemed to have just skipped on by.
Another unforced error for the Lax Cats.
Yep, went by Ben Breen. And Breen's been really quiet. It looked like early in the match he was attacking, but we really haven't heard much from him as the match has gone on.
You know, nerves have got to start playing a role in this game where University of Arizona is having to push the pace to make up this 4-goal deficit, and I think it's working against them.
Max Berry, well, pretty soon they're going to get to the point where they're going to have to start gambling and start taking some chances, and they're either going to cause turnovers and score in transition, or the Gauchos are going to put on some more goals.
You know, you see some pretty unique situations and some unique calls by coaches in this kind of situation where if you're winning faceoffs, they actually use a goalie to mark a low player and double team the ball and force the other team to shoot and just get back to a draw. But in this situation, Arizona has not won enough faceoffs to actually mark anyone with their goaltender. So we're going to see how they develop this.
Morgan, they swing right side. Looking towards Sieglin.
Nice check.
Loose ball scramble, and it's picked up and re-corralled by Bowles. Perella looking to operate close. Oh, and it hits the goal mount. That's the second time we've seen that happen today. And it could just as easily be 9-4 right now, Eric.
9 or 10.
Yeah, that's right. Loose ball. We'll have the battle at midfield. And who wants it?
And Gauchos get it back.
Yeah, they have been coming up with most of those loose ground balls today, haven't they?
They have. Oh, what was that call for? What do we see here? Must have stepped out of bounds on...
But there's the turnover.
And there's another one.
Just stripping them. It was C.P. Perella just picking his pocket. And they've got some numbers if they hurry, but an errant pass will take care of that, and it's scooped up by Johnny Morgan. What is it about Morgan that has just made him an offensive force?
The kid's slippery. He gets open in just the weirdest ways and the most bizarre spots. Like right now, his defender number 2 isn't paying attention. He's not looking at Johnny Morgan, which in my opinion is a big mistake, because why would you leave a guy unmarked who's got 6 goals? You know, you're going to see Johnny always place himself directly opposite ball, and he's constantly moving, so the defense never has an opportunity to mark him up.
Chris Bauer in the game, number 28, a freshman out of St. Margaret's High School. That's down in San Juan Capistrano, and that's another program that's been real strong in lacrosse. They were actually one of the first schools in Orange County to establish a lacrosse program, and the Episcopal School in San Juan Capistrano, always a factor in Orange County lacrosse.
And another ground ball pickup by the Gauchos.
Yep. And their goalie, Conrad Carlson, comes away with it.
Let's see if he can be smart about this and not try to force this ball at field. And he chooses to go with the long pole low.
We've seen some teams that sometimes will go with one goalie in the first half and one in the second half. But both of these teams have been sticking with their same goalies throughout. What's your thought process on that?
I think it's a fantastic idea during the regular season to get both goalies playing experience, you know, especially in big games, because you don't want to have a situation where a goalie goes down in a pressure situation, your backup goalie's got no playing experience. But in a situation like playoffs, you got to go with your starter, especially when he's playing as well as Conrad is.
Oh, sure. You always, that bench doesn't go quite as deep come playoff time.
Never.
Okay, come on.
Loose ball scramble, coming away with it, and the shot and the save being made off the shot attempt by C.J. Jacobs, and Jacobs still has not scored here today, but picks up that loose ball grounder.
See right there, that shot by C.J. in tight.
C.J., and he almost scored. Strzok coming up with the save there, and well, C.J. definitely has offense on his mind right now.
He does, but he's got to make an adjustment. So far, his last 3 shots have been stick side low, and this goalie has got his number today.
Doesn't have Johnny Morgan's number, though.
Not at all.
Morgan has scored 6 of the 8 Gaucho goals, and unless we see a quick change down the stretch of this one, Morgan no doubt will be the player of the game.
Nice hit.
Yep, nice save. Strzok, he's working it behind the goal crease, now finally picks it up, and they'll try and get some lax cat offense going here. Off to Brendan Felix. He wears number 4 out of Yorba Linda from Servite High, home of the Friars. Their fans are so fervent during basketball season, they're called the Asylum, that during a playoff game at Brea Olinda High, they actually were making so much noise standing in the stands in the bleachers, they broke the bleachers.
Oh,
but
boy.
Servite was very cool and showed good sportsmanship, and the school paid for the repairs that had to be made.
And there's a unforced error again directly to number 33, Dan Nevitt.
Yep, here comes Nevitt. Gonna grip and rip. And Strzok with yet another good save. And I've been impressed with this young man. You know, maybe he hasn't had Morgan's number, but he's had everyone else's number.
Dan Nevitt is one of those LSMs who is certainly not scared to shoot the ball for good reason. The kid has got an absolute cannon with that long pole.
But I still like what I've seen from the youngster Tommy Strzok. 57% save percentage on the year, 69 saves. They've kind of gone through a couple of goalies this year, but Strzok's the guy that they've gone with down the stretch. 6:46 to go. I mean, the Gauchos right now are more than happy just to take their time on offense, and they just want to make sure they don't make any mistakes. Shot on the way, and the save is made off the attempt by Bowles.
Again, there's another stick side save. The Gauchos have got to realize that they've put about 6 or 7 shots into a stick. They're making them look good at this point.
Let's see what Nolan Baker can do, and let's see if that offense can go with Stanabak. Stanabak wears number 7. Down to Strode. Back up top.
Great play right there by Conrad to step out and make that attacker, number 8, Luke Strode, dodge around the goalie.
Yeah, Levi Pellegrin in there right now, scooped up there by Conrad. Nice pass in transition. Beautiful spin move. Oh boy, that's going to be a classic if you watch the replay of this one.
That's an ESPN top 10 right there.
Oh my.
That's coming from number 36, Blake Overholt.
Yep, the the junior out of Cordova. That was just pretty stick work right there. And you would expect to see that really from attack or a midi with the short pole, not the guy with the long pole.
No, that's just pure athleticism right there, getting him out of a dangerous situation.
He's just used to hitting guys, not being the point guard. Right now, the Gauchos are sitting pretty. Everything going their way. They lead by 4 with 5:15 to go here in the fourth. Arizona's going to have to find a way, and the shot and the score.
That was number 8, Aaron Bucka.
Yep, that's Bucka, his 20th goal of the year. And at 9-4, that might have been a nail in the coffin. 9-4. So since we were tied at 4, the Gauchos have scored 5 consecutive goals, and we have a timeout on the field. 5:08 to go. It's now all UC Santa Barbara as the Gauchos lead the Lax Cats of U of A by the count of 9-4. So let's kind of review. At the little over 13-minute mark, Stanback had scored in the third to make it 4-all, and we had ourselves a brand new game. The turning point took place. With 10:45 to go, a 2-minute penalty was called against John Fricke, and it was an unreleasable penalty. And within 15 seconds, Bull scored to make it 5-4, and then Morgan scored yet another one of his goals at the 9:06 mark to make it 6-4. Since then, Lieber, Morgan, and Bucka have all scored to make it 9-4. But I think that 2-minute man-up penalty that was unreleasable was certainly the turning point in this match.
I absolutely agree with you on that one. If without that 2-minute unreleasable penalty, we might be looking at a game that's 7-4 or less, because Arizona could have capitalized on a couple mistakes that the Gauchos had made and not been man down, putting points on the board.
But how about the play of Johnny Morgan? Morgan with 6 goals today, now has 30 of those on the year and 41 points, and he's done that in 10 games. His point per game average going up from 3.88 to 4.1 here today. So as they come out of timeout, and if you're Mickey Miles, the legendary coach of Arizona, who has accomplished everything you'd accomplish in the game, but his team trailing by 5, what can you possibly be telling your team right now?
They've got to capitalize on their chances. Again, the Gauchos, although they're playing well, are making mistakes. They're throwing the ball away. The goalie's making saves. And on those goalie saves, they're not capitalizing in transition. And if they capitalize in transition, they work the ball down on offense and take your time.
Well, let's see if the Tucson Cowboy, what he's got under that 10-gallon hat. Well, they're able to win the face-off, and here they are on offense.
We saw Arizona come out 16 seconds after the Gauchos scored and put one in the back of the net. So if they take their time, they focus on their fundamentals, they could do that again.
4:43, so time is certainly a factor. Jordan Goldstein, number 6. They'll swing it right side and back up top to Goldstein. If you're Arizona, you've got to attack. You can't really wait a whole lot of time here. Out of the way, score! That is the way that you get it done. That's a good old-fashioned grip and rip. And we've got a 9-5 game with 4:24 to go here in quarter number 4.
That is absolutely what they call threading the needle. It's right between the goalie's hip and the pipe. What an excellent shot.
Yep, the goal by Goldstein.
Let's go, Cats!
And so with 4:24 to go, the Cat faithful hoping that they've got a miracle finish here in mind. And it will have to be just that miraculous. But stranger things have certainly happened in the world of sport. 9-5 your score.
So here we go. We've got 4 minutes left and a 4-goal deficit. Let's see if the Gauchos can take some time off the clock without getting into a stall warning.
Well, time right now, certainly their ally Max Berry, the junior out of Davis, California. He grew up where you played your college lacrosse. We have a timeout with 3:51 to go. It's the Gauchos 9 and the Lax Cats 5. On the line, it's a trip to the SLC semifinals and a date with Grand Canyon, the #1 seed from the South. And what can you say about Grand Canyon? I mean, anytime you mention move, but I don't know if anyone would have imagined that last year's Division II national champion jumps up to Division I and finds a way to be the South Coast League champion.
I agree, and we've seen it 2 times now. One on the women's side in the WCLA where Chapman won the Division II national championship, jumped up to Division I and made the Division I national championship. And here we're seeing it with Grand Canyon. And they're getting hot at the right time. You know, they're working hard and they're pushing into playoffs. And if they stay hot with that desire, who knows what they're capable of.
Is there a team right now in this field that you could possibly see this conference or any other conference in the country in the MCLA that might be a little bit of a dark horse that maybe other schools are overlooking, that if has a chance to kind of get on a run and surprise the field by storm?
For me, it's got to be UCSB. I mean, they've got some very close games. You know, they played Colorado State to within 1, but then only Texas to within 1. You know, and CSU was #1 and Texas was, I believe, number 12 right now. So you're seeing a 1-point swing between the #1 team in the country and the number 12 team in the country. So Santa Barbara by no means has had an easy road to where they are.
Walsh with it. Gives away to C.J. Jacobs. Right now they want to take time off clock. I'm sure if C.J. gets an opening, he'll have no problem letting one rip. And I think right now, probably if you're Coach Allen, you're probably saying, guys, let's take time off clock, but if we have a point-blank range shot, let's take it.
Like that one. That was an excellent call.
And they will keep possession with 3:22 to go here in the fourth. Gauchos 9, Lax Cats 5. Right now the Gauchos appear to be 3:18 away from having a date down in San Diego with Grand Canyon. Shot on the way and the save is made. Loose ball rebound, Bucka, and it hits the post. The 3rd time that's happened here today. And so the Lax Cats still have a little bit of life in them. A little resuscitation action taking place on that one. Hi, Eric.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you hit a pipe, it just kind of fuels the fire at the defense, and they just come out on all cylinders.
Yep, stand back. You got to be looking to grip and rip right here. Can't take a whole lot of time off clock. 2:40 left to go here in regulation. Stand back. He's got to look for his shot. Use a pick, anything you can to get open. And I think we might have an illegal pick here. And that's exactly what we've got. And that is costly with 2:27 to go.
That is not the kind of mistake that you need at this point in the game. Because right now, they've got plenty of time to kill in midfield transition and then down in the attacking zone. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're playing the ball back to Conrad and letting him take some more time off the clock.
2:14 to go in this one. Berry. They'll be more than happy to just move that ball around and keep taking time off clock. It's Chris Bauer.
Chris Bauer's done a phenomenal job hanging out inside the box so they don't get that stall warning clock on.
Also good size at 6'1", 185. And Bauer at 6'1", it's decent size, but when you see the guy who's guarding him, boy, he's just got a whole lot of height on him. Down to 142, off to the ever-dangerous Johnny Morgan. 6 of the 9 goals for the Gauchos here today.
And stall warning's on.
Scramble, who wants it? Who's going to scoop up that ground ball?
What a pickup.
Yep.
We've got lids off.
Yep.
And
Morgan to Bowles.
And that was just...
Couple of flags fly. We'll let the official make the call on this one.
And let's hear it.
First one. Yeah. No, we got it. He dove at him when he's on the ground. So we're getting... That's... Yeah, okay. So, we got it. Well, hold on. Okay, so Blue dove at him when he was on the ground. He didn't touch him at all, but he distinctly dove at him when he was on the ground.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't see any of it. You got it.
So we're giving him an illegal body check. He didn't touch him, but he distinctly tried to hit him.
It's all you. It's all you. I didn't see it. Did you see it?
I did not see it.
Exactly. It was all in front
I
of
love the fact the officials are discussing the calling.
This is exactly what needs to happen when a play like this involves. A guy loses his bucket, guy dives at him, the referees need to take their time to really discuss what happened.
It's interesting. 2 officials said they saw nothing, and 1 said he saw something.
Yeah, he's done. So you're going to throw him
Precisely why they've got 3 on the field.
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
So, where's he at? Where's blue 5?
Hey, blue 5. Where's blue 5?
Blue 5. We got blue 5, illegal body check, 1 minute. We have white 2-7, unsportsmanlike conduct, 3 minutes, locked in.
Wow. So Zach Ashurian for Arizona, 2 minutes.
5
Kyle
blue.
Sieglin
5 blue.
for the Gauchos, 3 minutes. Both are obviously out of the match with 1:20 to go.
You, as a coach, cannot be happy about an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. That's just inexcusable this late in the game.
And that's exactly what happened to Kyle Sieglin. So I'm sure Coach Allen will probably have a little chat with him right now as well as at the end of this match.
I'm sure there's going to be some colorful language exchanged on that one.
Yep. So 9-5 your score with 1:20 to go. I thought they said the first one was 2 minutes, but they have Ashurian with 1 and Sieglin with 3. So if that 1 minute is correct, Ashurian can come back in with 20 seconds left. So no man up. There's 1 penalty against each player here. Obviously a little bit of frustration taking place. You can understand Arizona down by 4 goals, but does it make sense why the Gauchos would do that when they're in control of this match?
Sometimes, even up, you just let your emotions get to you and take some cheap shots, and to me, that's what it looked like.
But it has been all about Johnny Morgan today. 6 goals for this young man and 30 goals on the season in just 10 games. I mean, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. Who are some of the other premier goal scorers you enjoy watching in college lacrosse this year?
For me, again, it's just being a Gaucho fan and living here in Santa Barbara. C.J. Jacobs is just unreal to watch. He's got a cannon from outside. And he really does a fantastic job of picking corners.
And you're doing a good job being a homer here today, Eric. You are being politically correct, as we know you bleed gold and blue. Scramble, picked up by the Gauchos.
Let's see if we can go to the field and pick up a last couple minute conversations.
Okay. It's Ryan Walsh.
And what a great ball movement by the Gauchos and patience to put that in the back of the net.
And that'll be their 10th goal of the match. It comes with 41.5 seconds remaining. Hey, who was it that put that in between the pipes there?
I didn't see that one. I believe it was...
Yeah, actually, that's Aaron Bucca with the goal.
Yep.
So for Bucca, his 2nd goal of the game, his 21st of the season. It comes with 41.5 seconds to go. 10-5 your score. And the Gauchos can punch their ticket to San Diego. They'll be down at UC San Diego a week from today, where they'll be taking on the #1 seed from the South, Grand Canyon.
And I thought we had a flag down on the play, and there it is. Let's see if we can get this.
Yeah, there was a hanky, and then he picked it up, and I thought they were going to let him keep going, and now we've got a technical call.
I unfortunately missed that. It looked like it was behind the play.
Yeah, I'm thinking it looks like it's against the Gauchos.
They're unsportsmanlike 3 minutes.
Yep. And so keep in mind, only 9 seconds left on the Arizona penalty. So as soon as that's up, they'll be up 2.
I stand corrected. It must have been a push from behind, and they're giving him a 30-second releasable foul.
Well, we only have 24 seconds left in the match. Shot, score! That's how you do it. So you have to say, why not a little bit earlier in this match? But they're able to score late here.
That's the kind of ball movement you look for to put points on the board, and unfortunately, it's coming too little too late.
I think that was Ben Breen on the goal. Number 25 is first of the night. And so 10-6 is your score, as we've got 21.6 seconds to go.
And there's a fantastic feed also by number 9, Zach Johnson.
So Johnson on the assist. but too little too late. I mean, the Cats let it all hang out. It just seemed like their offense was a little too inconsistent. Some sloppy passes at times, not really valuing possession. And then, of course, that 1 2-minute unreleasable penalty by Fricke where the 4-4 game became a 6-4 game, and the Gauchos never looked back after that point. Just a Stanback shot. Save is made. 3.2 seconds remaining. We're moments away from this match coming to its conclusion. Shots wide, and that's going to do it. The Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara defeat the Lax Cats of the University of Arizona by the count of 10-6. And with the victory, next week, the Gauchos are going to travel south to San Diego to take on Grand Canyon. With the victory, the Gauchos now 12-5 on the year, and with the loss, University of Arizona, they're going to wrap up with a record of 10-6. So Mike Allen defeats the veteran Mickey Miles, the legendary coach. Just not enough offense here today for the Lax Cats. And if you break down the scoring, it was really all about Johnny Morgan. He had 6 of their 10 goals. Then Aaron Bucca contributed. He had a pair of goals. Lieber with 1 and Bowles with 1. Meanwhile, for the University of Arizona, as far as their goal scoring was concerned, opening up their scoring, Stanback had a goal, then Bradley and Walter came through with goals. Stanback then got his second goal of the game. And then late in the game, goals by Goldstein and Breen. 10-6 was your final. And Eric, your final thoughts on this one?
I think the Gauchos did an excellent job of moving the ball well. You know, Johnny buried 6 goals, but it wasn't him alone. The teammates did a great job of getting him the ball. I think what made the real difference here was the Gauchos' physical play on defense. You know, it all started in the defensive zone. They forced Arizona into some bad shots, and their long poles stepped up and just handled the Dodgers of University of Arizona.
And meanwhile, on the offensive end, Johnny Morgan was just on fire with 6 goals. It's been a while since we've seen a performance of this caliber in the playoffs with the season on the line. And, you know, if you're Johnny Morgan, the favorite son now of La Costa Canyon, the Mavericks down in San Diego, they've got to be celebrating for Johnny and his performance here today.
You know, the fun thing about that is Johnny's only a junior, so he's got a whole another year left to progress, and it's going to be an amazing thing to see him grow as a senior.
So we know part of the equation's been filled as UC Santa Barbara will be taking on Grand Canyon. The question is, who will it be that will be taking on Chapman next week? Will it be Arizona State or Loyola Marymount? And then we're set up with our Final 4 here in the SLC.
I think Arizona's got a fantastic shot at winning that game. They perform well on the road. They handle business when they need to. You know, they've got good outside shooters, and they're disciplined. I think if they come focused, they've got a great chance of winning that game.
You're talking to the Sun Devils, who have just 2 losses on the season. Well, that's going to wrap it up from Isle Vista here on the campus of UC Santa Barbara in Santa Barbara, California, with your final score once again. The Gauchos 10 and Arizona 6. And we would like to thank the president of the SLC, Matt Holman, as well as Mickey Miles, as well as Coach Allen of UC Santa Barbara for all the information they provided and for letting us be here today. And Eric Valois, it was a pleasure working with you today. And, of course, we wish you nothing but the best of success being an assistant coach here with the Lady Gaucho program.
Thank you, Mark. It's been a phenomenal experience being on with you.
Your final score, once again, UC Santa Barbara 10 and Arizona 6 for Eric Valois. For my man up top, Mr. Ted Bendrick, the man who was getting all the camera shots, and to the people back in master control, I'm Mark Heller saying so long from UC Santa Barbara. The Gauchos move on. They win it 10-6. This has been an exclusive presentation of the Lacrosse Network. Until next time, so long and good day from Santa Barbara, California.
I mean, are we kidding me right now? I mean, are we kidding me right now? Do you really think that you being on a phone and not listening to me is going to help you? No, sir.